All right, guys, welcome back to the show. And our guest is not a stranger. He's been on the show before. His name is Ade-Akanbi. He's a tech executive, AI product leader, and a portfolio entrepreneur. And he runs a company that is one of the fastest growing innovation and analytics tech groups in the MEA region. Serves as partner and chief business and AI officer. Nice having you on the show.
Nice having you on the show.
Thank you very much for
Oh
having
yeah,
me.
with your glasses I can see. Oh yeah, he's really tech.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. Your portfolio, right? You have often emphasized that Nigerians need to build for Nigerians, right? Africans and also the world. What inspired that philosophy of yours, and what does it look like in action?
Okay, so for me, I started to see this. So I love Steve Jobs, and he said something that life is made up by people that are not much intelligent than we are. And I often say something that everything that exists in today's world was created by humans, apart from the things that exist naturally. Just think about it, from your jet engines to airplanes to ships to trains. Think about any innovation at all that exists today. The fact that we are speaking here today and millions out there are listening to us live, that is proof of what humans have made happen. So when I think about it for the tech ecosystem, I see possibilities as well for us to create many more solutions that the world can use, solutions for ourselves and that the world can also use. It's possible.
Now, everything that was created was, that is today is created by somebody. Why do you think we are not creating, we're waiting? Why do you think Nigerians are just waiting instead of creating or building?
So I think the situation with that would be that many people don't know what is possible. And I say this because I've had to interact with a lot of people. I've spoken at universities, I've spoken at conferences and the likes, and you would see that gap when people are sharing, right? They just don't know what is possible. And also because of exposure, right? So people are very limited to the things that they're exposed to. So they don't know that a particular life is possible. And I share this as well where you look at certain industries, right? Look at the music industry, for example. I love the Nigerian music industry with what they are doing today, where you see that there was a time in our history where it felt somehow to listen to Nigerian music, right? Because it was the foreign music that was just like on all the airwaves. So looking at the situation now, they are getting noticed across the world. I was in one of the airports in the Middle East region some time ago, and one of the stores, they were playing a music by a Nigerian person, and I was like, wow, in this part of the world, right? And it made me feel proud. So those are possibilities that exist today. So in terms of people not knowing and seeing what is possible, I think, yeah, it's because they just, right, we don't know, and that's why I've taken it upon myself to just try as best as possible to share this knowledge with many people.
Okay, for me, I believe everything is possible, right? Looking at the fact that you love Steve Jobs, and I know that Steve Jobs says, okay, we should look at things and see it differently if we really want to make a change. So back home now, Nigeria, we have a chunk load of problems, from the economy to infrastructure. And then we really thank the fact that we are growing in the space of fintech. Fintech has even really taken over the space. But what do you think, or what do you believe can be like the immediate action we need to take in tech now to kind of solve Nigeria's problem? Do you understand? Maybe one of the problem, in fact, half of the problem, using tech. What is that immediate action?
So we can't impact the world without first impacting ourselves, right? We can't give what we don't have. And this is what I say to people when they ask me such questions, because many people don't know what they can do. They don't know the limits of their capabilities, right? Myself and you today, we can speak to the things we speak to, being experts in our fields, because we learned, we equipped ourselves with the knowledge to be able to do this. So many people, my direct answer is we need to equip ourselves with the adequate knowledge to be able to then tackle these problems. Yes, there's a lot of problems, genuinely. In fact, Nigeria is one of the places where you can probably run out of problems because, and we can't just keep talking about the problems, right? We take conferences, we do shows, we do a lot of events that people talk about the problems, right? But we need to wire our minds towards the solution as well. I love the fact that you mentioned the fintech space, for example. I remember back then, I used to be in the banking sector, right? And when the fintechs were coming up, banks were thinking, or people were thinking, the fintech will come and take the bread of the banks, right? But today, the banks are still churning out their big revenues, right? Fintechs are doing well on their own space as well. But what if that didn't happen, right? We won't see this growth that we all enjoy. You see a fintech in Nigeria today now expanding to the United Kingdom, dominating that space as well. So these are possibilities, and we just need to.
So how do you even try, because you're very good on the AI scene, how do you convince professionals and even CEOs to use AI and to see it as a tool for growth instead of a threat, taking over jobs and all of that?
So one of the first things to look at for that is having to intentionally let them see the value, right? Because again, humans, we tend to not want to dabble into things without seeing what it benefits them. So I will share an example. There was a time it happened for some time, and I noticed it. CEOs would go to like an event abroad, and they were probably adamant, right, about using the AI in their company, but they go to a conference and they see what is happening, and you see them come back to Nigeria, start to say, oh, we need to train our staff, because they've seen possibilities, right? So what I share with such CEOs is that case studies, right? This company has done this, you can also replicate, right? And also show them the core values that they can get. And it's raging on, it's sort of like being accepted more, but there's still much more work to be done.
Do. All right.
Yes, I really love the fact that we are looking at the CEOs now, because I mean, some of them, they are really kind of just routined. To be flexible is quite difficult, but I like the fact that you are taking this whole step. Now, looking at the tech industry now, we have people who apply for grants, because we know that's where the money is. Because when you talk about tech, oh my goodness, you're talking about 7 figures and 9 figures. That's where the money is. We have people who apply for grants, international grants. Now, there is a problem. Now, these people, it's been on statistics that whenever they get this grant, they put it into this whatever innovation that they have. And before you know it, it's not up to 3 years, shut down. Now, we really thank goodness for the established tech companies, most especially fintech, because that's what is really, reigning in our time. So now these people shut down. I'm like, what did they use the money for? What is the problem? Why did they shut down? Is it that they spent the money on something else, or what is the problem really?
Okay, this is how I look at such situation. So when you are doing a startup, usually, right, we do something called startup as a service in my company, where we build several startups across the world, and it's like an experiment. A startup is an experiment, and just like the conversation we had where we said everything that exists in today's world was done by humans. The camera has been used today, the car has been used today. It was not the first car that was created that we drive today, right? Tesla being able to drive, electric vehicles, let me use that word. It just didn't happen. There were so many iterations. So the whole startup scene is sort of like an experiment that should be embraced. And this is something that happens so well in America, in the San Franciscos of this world, Silicon Valleys of this world, where they are very big on trying to spend money on things, let it fail, and they learn from it. So yes, a lot of startups have failed. We've learned from such situations now because we know what not to do, right? We've uncovered a lot of things. Many people using playbooks of other markets to try to exactly replicate, do that exact replica in Nigeria. It doesn't work, right? You have to build around the humans. So I would say.
Okay. So that answers that question. So let's talk about your mission, and that's really lofty and ambitious, by the way. 10 million Africans in AI.
Yes.
What sparked this mission, and how do you intend to go about this? Where are you now?
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, yes, truly. And a bit of backstory, I've always desired to train because I've seen the impact it has taken. Myself, training, education has been what has changed. I would probably want to talk about what I studied. It's very far from what I do today, right? But I had to learn a lot of things, and we have now gotten better because of it. So I take education very seriously, and education comes in different forms, right? So I've also seen that when we go to places across the world, the things they do, right, is based on the knowledge that has been shared or percolated in that space, right? So there's that common awareness that happens. So in terms of AI, I want a situation where Africans are just able to learn, or should I say have that awareness about this technology, and they can apply it to their daily living, right? Because just the way the internet came, everybody now you can operate a mobile phone to a good extent, way more than before, because there's that collective consciousness on how to use technology, right? So that's the same aim I hope to achieve with AI, using the training as a means. So what started it was just that desire to train, and how far we've gone. So we started this year, at the beginning of this year, we started with that mission, and so far we've trained over 70,000 people directly.
Online or?
Directly. So we've been using,
Spaces?
No, actually one-on-one conversations with companies. So we started with the approach with the company. So a company has 7,000 staffs, 5,000 staff members. We train the entire company. That's some good numbers. So we've done that collectively, but we're looking to go into the mass world as well, mass media, using mass media, because how do we reach 10 million people,
really good.
right? So recently we're going to be launching a data and AI podcast where we've spoken with some really incredible people that are in the data analytics space in Nigeria, like people that are very low key, but they are doing so much well. So we're launching that this month with
I like that kind of life. I really want to do that low key thing. I mean, I'm just balling, right?
They exist, right? And they're doing some really incredible stuff.
Okay, so I'm curious to know, you mentioned that what you studied, looking at what you're doing now, the difference is very, very clear. Please, I'm curious to know, what did you actually study?
All right, I did my undergraduate in zoology.
Okay, so it's definitely one of those things people port. It's not far
so
off.
I did my major in parasitology, even having research paper out on
that's
it. But
interesting.
we just saw that what would give us. So what I do today is still not far-fetched, really, because I still research, right? That course is quite a research-dense course, and now data science, which is what I do, is still research-dense.
Okay,
and I would say, we used to operate in the lab. Now my company, we have an AI lab. So
okay, now it makes sense. Looking at the average Nigerian, we want to make money sharp. So if we are saying, okay, we want to build, average Nigerian wants to make money like sharp. Yes. So, and in our country, we are so bound with the consumerism factor because we consume a lot. And now it's your goal to make Africa or Nigeria, let's start from home, a global tech, is it number one now? I don't know where you want to place it.
Just better than we are.
Yeah.
We can chase number one after we've got into some levels.
So aside from the training, how else do you intend to achieve that?
Okay. We need to build, like you've said, and we consume a lot, but we need to move from consumption even to production. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. We can't deny that. There's a lot of infrastructure problems, policy problems, and the likes. But one thing I always say, and many people that are innovators would agree with me, is that regulation would always chase innovation. Right, so once you have innovated well enough, the government will come in at some point to either support because it's now so important to not fail. So they have to come in, right? So it still builds on us as humans to create a lot of these things. For the guys that will be building, right, they are not as many as the people that are using, right? The consumption, the people that consume are not as many as people that produce. So my focus in some cases are for the people that will be producing, the people that build, right? So we created a program called One Shot Innovation Program, which is sort of like an accelerator thing for people that are actually building, right? They have an idea and they are dogged, they want to bring it to life. We then work with them and create that solution for their target market. And in fact, it's happening even in Nigeria, where I remember I was invited to train some startups that the federal government was training through the IHACH program. Right, and I trained them on human-centered designs, and it's really incredible to see what the solutions those guys are building are. Very incredible solutions
so much
across
going on.
Nigeria.
Right, a lot is really going on, but looking at how the economy of countries, just other political factors, how can we still position ourselves, as a global giant in the world to even thrive, as a global giant?
Okay, so I say this a lot, that we are at a very big window moment in history, this period of time, because when you look at some 30 years ago when the internet just came, the Gates of this world, that was when they were started to like really gain the prominence that they have today. So they keyed into the window moments of that time. This is now the window moment of this time with all these changes across the world, technology, government,
and all that
everything. So what I say to such situation is that we need to start to position ourselves early. We have the populace, we have the desire, we have the people, we have the hunger for success, right? Let's put all the moving parts together, key into it, and then we'll see the ripple effects later in the future. Nearest future, I hope.
All right, we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll still have more to talk about on the show before we wrap up, so please stick around. We'll be back. All right, guys, we're still having a great time having conversations how to build for Nigeria, Africa, and the world, tech, AI, and innovation. And our guest has been going on about the amazing innovation things he's doing in the tech space. For young people, that's my particular, because there's a new wave of young people who are learning these tech skills, coding, and all those things in between. How can they get on? How can they get this additional advantage? Yes. Coding, data, and product design, you know. Where should they start? Because it seems very complex. You know, it's just a lot of data analytics. It's so much information. So where do you start from?
So yes, for the young people, I have conversations with them a lot. I'm invited to universities to speak, conferences and the likes, and you see that desire. Honestly, it's very hard for me to see such, you know, I'm speaking at an event, and after it, you just see them thrown towards me, have conversations, you know, and you see that burning fire in them. So it needs to be mined. Such needs to be mined in Nigeria. So when it comes to wanting to build solutions, a lot of people make certain mistakes. They think of the products. And I would explain. So when you're talking about building solutions in Nigeria or in the tech space, when I speak to these guys, the first thing they tell me is, oh, we have a mobile app, or we are building a mobile app. And I'm like, no, that shouldn't be the first thing you should do. You're solving a problem, right? The product is how you get the solution to your people, to the people you are solving it for. Banking, the solution, what they are giving to us is not the mobile app we use. The solution is banking. We enjoy banking through the mobile apps we use, right? So you see some people, they say they want to create the next Spotify. They think they can just code the app up and make it happen. But the solution Spotify offers us, right, is the fact that we can go there, listen to any musician. That's the solution you should focus on. So I say to them that yes, coding, software engineering, design would come in, but first map out the solutions you're building, right? Then you can now build a product that will deliver that solution to your targets.
That's for those who are building, those who want to learn, who want to make money from it. Where do they start from?
So it starts from your interests first, right? So because tech field is quite wide, right? So you have to first, what is your interest? So when people ask me such, I say, look at these different fields: software engineering, product design, data science, cybersecurity. Go do research on them. Which one do you think excites you, interests you, right? Come back to me and let us have a conversation to say, go deep into this that you've seen that interests you, because it has to be based on interest.
That's a nice way so talking about interest, I will go for product design and cyber security. Oh yes. I don't know about Tolu.
I'm sure. I don't know of data analysis. Anything mathematics is just off the cuff.
Oh my goodness, from yesterday. Okay, so you've been accepted into the Global Accelerator for investors. Congratulations on that. So what does this mean for your work? Like, what does this mean to you? And how can you relate it? Like how can you integrate it into your goal of building, African tech and giving solutions to it?
Thank you very much. So yes, we were recently accepted to VC Lab, and what started that was a conversation I had at the Qatar Economic Forum earlier this year with a couple of friends. They're my friends now, where we have that strong desire to actually create a change for Nigerians and Africans and to the world, right? So remember I mentioned that we started a program like an accelerator thing for people that want to build. In that program, people that also have the tech skills that I've recently learned can also come to build together with people. So we're trying to bridge that gap that, just try to bridge many gaps. So we then thought to ourselves that we need to be able to support people that are building financially. We can all say all the grammar we want to speak, but money still moves the mountain, right? Exactly. Money moves things. So we then said, let's start to invest in these startups as well, so that they can even go try things out, right? We learn from it. Some will fail, some will be successful, right? We then learn from there, push and move and build solutions for the world, right?
So just to cut you, so invariably you're also an investor. Being accepted means you're going to be investing and helping young people, just people generally who want So if I need money to invest in my startup, I'll come to you.
Apply to the program.
Nice. Thank you so much.
So the fund is for the program.
Right. So how can government and private sector help to support innovation? That's really important and AI across board.
Yes. It's happening, but not at the scale at which it should. And really, it's because it's like that because we still don't have many players making these things happen. I say to people that the old jackpot syndrome is quite a blessing in this, if you look at it from a particular angle. Many people, Nigerians especially, have gone across the world. They see systems that exist in the world today, right? So they are supposed to, or they are not supposed, they are actually building back into the country. A good number of them. I have a number of them as friends as well. So the government also needs to play their parts regarding policies. Right, everybody, every moving part has to work together. That is what you see in other countries across the world. Every moving part working together to ensure that something happens. A production, for example, or a show, a TV show, for example, many moving parts come in to make that happen. Right, so when the people are building, people are also supporting policies, people are creating infrastructure. Right, I say to people jokingly that one of the reasons why maybe we still face certain problems, you know, like light issues and like, is because somebody has not come up to tackle it and say, this is what I want to offer to Nigerians, and I'm going to solve this problem. And I mean individual innovators, right, or a group of them, where you just say, this is the one problem, and it's happening, you know, but it's just not at scale. But again, I see the direction of where things are going to, where we, in the next 5 years, we're definitely going to be better than where we are currently.
Oh, pretty interesting.
I see the trajectory.
Yeah, I also see it with you. So long you see it, I see it. So that means if the system works, Nigeria can work. That's pretty interesting. So one final word, right? Before you go, what's that one word you give to a young person watching you right now who wants to start building and say, oh, I want to make that change. Ah, he likes Steve Jobs. Me too. I want to, you know, I want to write Mr. Phillips. So like that, I want him to be my mentor. What's that one word you give to that young person?
I would say that if you can think it, it means there's a possibility for it, right? There's the customer service week currently ongoing, and it's been said mission possible, right? Everything that exists again in today's world, it didn't seem it was possible. We lived through so many changes in the last few years that many people don't even take a moment to enjoy the progress that has happened, right? You see people that, we can use our mobile phones today, call somebody today on video, and the person sees it in Australia, and we are having a conversation. That's technology advancements, that's possibilities, right? So if anybody has an idea, please push for it, right? Go for it. And if you want to reach out, please reach out to me, Ade-Akanbi on LinkedIn or any channel. Let us have a conversation. Let us build together. One person can't do it. Few people can do it. Many people need to come together.
And also, you're definitely going to be training us here at Silverbird Group. I believe you don't want to let the cat out of the bag, right? But yeah, that's going to be looking forward to that. So on this note, we say our goodbyes. But our word of the day, I guess.
Yes, because we've been talking money from Monday. So today it's another way to make more money. So invest wisely, for time is the fuel that ignites the flame of future wealth. This is by Lindsay Mills.
Yeah, I love that. And it's not like just invest in money, invest in time, invest in ideas, because ideas are
relationships,
like relationships and all of that.
Relationships.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you to our guests for coming through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as usual, always have this in mind. Say no to jungle justice, say no to child abuse. Youth, stay focused and be guided.
Right.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.